I was propositioned by Passion Java to have sex with him.
One thing you can rest for sure, these man-made pulpits are being torn down. The Lord thy God is coming for the pulpits, those who are scattering the sheep. And I like to say those who are fondling the sheep.
My name is Haley Sasheen Adams, and I formerly used to work for false prophet Passion Java. I used to be one of his spiritual children until December of 2024. I was propositioned by Passion Java to have sex with him. I was propositioned by him through Telegram message at first, and I was working in his home at the time in Maryland, which is where he lives. He has multiple homes there. My job for him and for their ministry, him and his wife Lily, was to do social media. So I edited videos and I posted. I was also in charge of capturing all the content for Passion Java, along with another individual. I first moved to Maryland under the guise of false prophet Passion Java, that he was a true spiritual leader, that he was a real prophet, and he is not a real prophet. When I began attending church in Maryland, I was asked by Prosper Java, to come into Passion's office because he saw me in the service. When I came into Passion's office, he asked me if I was living there, where I was living, what my plans were. And I told him I'm here to attend the ministry. I'm here to serve under the prophet, and I am here to receive the teachings and the learning of the spiritual things that I need to understand in order to walk in my calling and in my ministry. He was also offering at the time a classes called College and Commissioned, which were for women. It was called CCC. It was for women who were called by God and were desiring to be commissioned into their ministry, which fits me. So I was asked to go into Passion Java's office, and I went into Passion Java's office. And from there, things changed. I was then directed to begin serving in the social media department. And I was serving for the social media department under the Kingdom Embassy branch, which there's Kingdom Embassy Maryland, there's Kingdom Embassy Houston, there's Kingdom Embassy Atlanta, there's Kingdom Embassy Cape Town, I believe. And this Kingdom Embassy in Maryland was separate in a sense from Passion Java Ministry. So I worked both for Kingdom Embassy Maryland and Passion Java Ministries. I began working for Passion Java Ministries in July of 2024. My first assignment with the ministry was to go with Passion and a group of other individuals to a service that Bishop Noel Jones was preaching at in Delaware. We came back from Delaware, we came back to Maryland. We're all, myself and a group of other individuals were at Passion Java's house. It's not in Beltsville, that's where the church is. There's a different city that it's in. I know the road. I'm not going to say that on here. So I get to his house, and immediately Passion Java calls me over to him, and he says, "What can you do for this ministry?" And because of the trainings and the teachings that I had already received from the other false prophet ministries that are connected to Passion Java, I had an idea of how I could support and serve in the ministry. I naturally have a servant's heart, and I was willing to do whatever it took to serve and to help out in this global ministry. Passion asked me if I could. He showed me his phone and he said, can you do this? And he showed me reels and content that was edited and had to be captured. And I said, yes, I can do that. So from literally that moment on, he told another individual, he said, give her the camera. I began to work for Passion not almost every single day from the time I woke up until the time I rested my eyes. And I was in charge of capturing his daily content via video, editing that content, and then posting on the various social media platforms. This was in July of 2024. I think it was the end of July of 2024, going into August of 2024. So I'm working for the ministry, and I was invited in September to go to the Daughters Conference in Los Angeles that was hosted by false prophet Maggie Elias. I attended the service and I captured content. I mean, people may remember me because I almost knocked down the camera at Revelation Church. I was in charge of capturing the content and whatever Passion was doing at the time, whether he was having a private meeting with individuals, he would direct me like to record this or, don't record that. So then we would edit the content, we would show it to him, and then we would post it, myself and another individual. So we flew out to LA. We spent that a few days there for the Daughters Conference. And then we came back home. This was September of 2024. My birthday was in October. And when my birthday came around, Passion at his home, I didn't understand at the time that this was grooming. I did not realize at the time that I was being groomed for sexual intercourse with this false prophet. So I was given from Passion Java I believe the jacket was close to $6,000 or $7,000, a Gucci jacket that he took off and he handed to me. And he said, happy birthday. And these were all things at the time that I didn't realize he was prepping me for his proposition. I had a series of dreams and warnings from the Lord that I had ignored because of the severe psychological manipulation that was taking place by these false prophets that were operating in witchcraft. So September rolls around, we have Daughters, then we have my birthday, and he gives me the jacket. And then he's traveling a lot. I'm still shooting content. There comes a point where Passion pulls me to the side and he says, you're going to be in charge of posting on all the platforms. You're going to be in charge of posting on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and there's one more, I think. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. That's it. So he told the two other individuals, he said, give her the logins. So now I was very close to Passion at this point where he began to trust me to give me his logins to the accounts, the Instagram, the TikTok, and the Facebook, where I had access to those accounts. I could see who was messaging him. I could see what he was looking at. I could see his For You page. I could see everything, the likes he was making. When he directed me, he said, you're going to start posting on all the platforms. He said to me, and if you execute this, I'm going to make your life sweeter than it has ever been. He said it just like that. I'm going to make your life sweeter than it has ever been. I didn't really care because I'm not in love with money like that. I'm not superficial. I was just grateful to be helping who I thought was a servant of God. So he made the promise to me that he was going to make my life super sweet if I executed this and yada, yada, yada. We ended up traveling to New York City. And if you're watching this and you saw me, you probably remember I was taking videography for Passion. I was on the stage in New York City when Lovie was there, when they kissed each other. And I was pretty much kind of like right by him in some senses. So if you're watching this and you remember me, that was me. So we go to New York City. We have the New York conference with false prophet Lovie Elias. And we come home back to Maryland. And now Java is having, at the end of the year, right before crossover service, I was propositioned to have sex with him. It's December 31st. So it was New Year's night. He asked me around 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon on New Year's night. Mind you, this guy he's not a real prophet, you guys. Like, we need to wake up. He explained to me in certain areas, and he showed me how he false prophesies as well. He made up a whole prophecy of 2 individuals just to get them out of our ministry, because I explained to him how evil these people were and what they were doing in certain homes and what they were saying. And I explained that to him, and he said, okay, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And then he false prophesied these individuals at the service, at the New Year's service, just to get rid of them. It was a false prophecy. He lied. What I realized later was to get on my good graces, to make me feel special to him. And then he told me, you're special to me. He's a liar. So in December 31st, I'm in Passion Java's home. He has 2 separate homes. I'm in his individual home, the home he does not live in with Lily. And in this home, he was downstairs teaching a class, a prophetic class with false prophet and whatever his name is, Apostle Innocent Java. He was teaching a class with Innocent at the time. And Java had messaged me on Instagram, and he said, I text you on Telegram. Okay. Which is unusual, because we would either communicate through WhatsApp or through Instagram. So that was very unusual. I had to go download Telegram because I didn't use the app. Now I'm realizing, okay, he's using Telegram. Once I get to the Telegram app and I open the initial message from my spiritual father, who I considered my spiritual father at the time, I called him Dad. He said, open up the other message. So I open up these other messages from him, and he is propositioning me to have sex with him. He is asking me to have sex with him. And I immediately said, no. I said, is this a joke? I'm thinking that they're testing me. They're trying to see if I'm loyal. They're trying to see what I'll do, trying to see if I'll tell people, blah, 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 blah. Because they had told other stories of them testing other individuals in the ministry. So I'm immediately thinking this is a joke. He also said to me, I said, but you're my father. And he said to me, I know it's wrong, and I won't ask you again. Okay. So it sounds like he maybe is making a mistake, right? It sounds like maybe he's a human being, he's a man, and I am just like, something's off, right? So he's trying to position himself as he's just a man. It's just, men have these feelings and desires for their spiritual daughters, right? I get the messages while he's downstairs. I walk downstairs to see if somebody else had his phone, and I'm watching him on his phone texting me. So I go back upstairs, and the conversation continues through Telegram, and he says to me, I'm coming back upstairs and I'm going to talk to you.
Jesus said, my sheep know my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. But what has happened, we have wolves in sheep clothing. But the wild part about it, we even have wolves in wolf clothing gracing the pulpits, whether from preaching politics from the pulpit or preaching their own imagination from the pulpit. God is coming to destroy these man-made pulpits where men exalt themselves as little false gods, but the true and living God is coming to clean the body up. He's coming to expose all of the ailments. The diagnosis that he has is that the body is full of cancer. Forget chemo, forget radiation. He's coming to cure the body from the head to the feet. The Lord thy God will get the glory, whether you participate or not, because every knee is going to bow. So bow now or bow later. Either way, you gonna bow. Pulpits destroyed in the name of Jesus. Y'all know what this is. This is the wheelhouse. Wheel for wheel. Christ, nothing. Peace.